ready. This is going to be exciting.
Here the Geico restart zone to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. Spectacular fashion.
Welcome back to the Goat Locker Racing INVETS Grand National Series. Tonight, we are racing from Rockingham Speedway. It's a blast from the past, just like the name, the Grand National Series. I'm Sky Shrek. I'm joined up in the booth tonight by Dave Regal and producer Skylar Daly. Dave, this is going to be a tricky track for a lot of these drivers. What do they got to do to get around here?
Well, the first thing that you're going to have to do is take your time. Make sure that you put that practice in. This is one of the few 1.5-mile ovals that we run that's genuinely a 1.5 miles, 1.500. Now, they're claiming that it's a mile here on iRacing, but according to everything else, it's saying 1.5 from 1977 and on forward. Now, the interesting thing here is these 22-degree banks in the turns, they don't really back off all the way to flat. So you're still on 8 degrees on the backstretch as well. So these drivers are going to have to really feather that throttle. The rear end of these cars tends to try to step out on this mile-long track. So, overall, I think a lot of these guys are going to have to basically have patience on the throttle. I mean, this place has been here since 1965, and it's been hosting the Grand National Series for a lot of, if not most of, its life. And thanks to iRacing, it is once again ever present here on the digital world.
Dave, I've got bad news. I think you were looking at the 1.5-mile road course that they have
Sure
here
was.
in real life.
I absolutely was. Caught it like 2 seconds ago.
Yeah, 1 mile in length here at Rockingham, so lap times are going to be a little shorter than a classic 1.5-mile oval. The winner of your Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award tonight with a lap time of 23.630 is none other than the 77 car of Mark Whitley. He is always a dominant factor here in the Goat Locker Racing Series, and unsurprisingly, Mark Whitley has grabbed the pole once again here tonight. Ken Huber will go from the outside of the front row in the 40, with Joseph McWhorter starting third in the 72. Garrett Kinder will roll off from P4 tonight in the 4, and Chuck Sweeting and Judson Curtis will make up row 3. Tracy Passons in the 53 will start 7th next to Stefan Purcell in the 92, and in 9th will be the 51 of Austin McColgan next to Kyle Deering.
Rolling off in the inside of row number 6 and 11th position is Phoenix, Arizona's Jamie Libke with Stefan Davis to her outside. Starting in 13th is Barrett Morton in the 9 machine with Levi McCarty starting in 14th. Back in 15th, it's going to be all about Mark Barcelos with Mickey Isaac in 16th. 17th position on the inside of row number 9 is Dave Calvert with Darrell Whitford in the 20 machine starting in 18th. And rounding out your starting top 20 is Brandon Wallace and Mason Mueller, Mayor that is, as we've got the French contingent here tonight.
And starting back in 21st tonight is Frederick Seagraves Jr. He will be the last driver to take a time. Next to him will be the 71 of Daniel Parks. Charles Abert goes from 23rd in the 7 next to Brock Price in the 43. Christopher Heiner, Michael Jones will go from 25th and 26th respectively. And then the last 3 cars on the field tonight will be Kevin Price, Armando Melgoza, and the 44 of Gary Wright. Mark Whitley, your winner of the Jam Printing and Promotions Pole Award. Since forming in 2013, Jam has contributed printing and promotional sponsorships to more than 60 local nonprofits, with a primary focus on organizations that assist veterans, women, and children. They have been with Goat Locker Racing since the very beginning. They're local and veteran certified, and when they do well, they do good in the community. So we thank Jam Printing and Promotions for their continued support, not just of the INVETS Grand National Series, but of Goat Locker Racing as a whole. Dave, these cars are rolling off. What are you going to need to do to win tonight?
Tonight, it's all about, saving those tires, not cooking the right sides off. I mean, 100 laps, we've got 3 total tire sets available. We'll probably add a 35-lap tire run, so as it is. And a lot of these drivers, even on 80%, are going to only be able to come in somewhere in and around that 25-lap mark. So, keep it clean, do your very best. I mean, right now, everybody's kind of holding their breath, and with that track temperature of 112 degrees, that's going to loosen up the asphalt and make some of these cars slip slide around.
112 degrees, and we're starting in sim time at 1:30 p.m., which makes me think that track temperature is only going to increase over the course of this race. The pace car will pull in at a turn 4 here, and it will be Mark Whitley on the front row next to Ken Huber as we hit the extreme scoring restart zone and go green at Rockingham.
Green flag in the air, and Chuck Sweeting and Ken Huber lead us down into turns 1 and 2. As it's Whitley now leading us down. For some reason, Sweeting decided to come up on my timing and scoring out of nowhere. But the 77 of Mark Whitley now drags us out of turn 4 and back to the front stretch. Joseph McWhorter, it seems like, Whitley, McWhorter, and Huber are almost always near the top of the timing tower, and tonight is no exception to that rule.
Yeah, Mark Whitley already out in front of this race by quite a big margin over McWhorter and Sweeting back there. Ken Huber sits back in P4 at the moment as we've single filed out through much of the top 10. Trying to get a little battle going deeper in the field right now. Everybody single file. Here's a move coming for Judson Curtis in the 29 car, looking to dip it down on the inside of the 4 of Garrett Kinder. Not able to get anything going there. Curtis also under fire behind him. He's got Tracy Passons working back there as Ken Huber will now try a move to get back up into the top 3. He'll make quick work of Chuck Sweeting and get that position.
As we work our way here on lap number 3, 4 now at the line. It's a pretty good battle here between the 57 and the 29. I mean, a lot of these drivers, as we work early on in this race, are going to have to find their way around. The 29 now of Judson Curtis out of Bryan, Texas, holds the low line and now secures away 5th position with Tracy Passons just behind. They go side by side, crossing the start-finish line, as now the 4 machine of Garrett Kinder falls into the clutches of the 29. All of that's going on while Ken Huber, running in 3rd position right now out of Kalispell, Montana, lays fast time down at 24.11 seconds.
Huber certainly making moves here early on after dropping back to P4. He's done a great job to recover and get that car all the way back up to 2nd. We'll see if he can pursue Mark Whitley there in that 40 machine. Grabbed the win last week on some good strategy at Sonoma, so he is your reigning winner here in the INVETS Grand National Series, and I wouldn't be surprised if he can maybe grab another here tonight. He's been fast all season long. Here's a move a little bit deeper in the field. You've got, well, it's the 53 car, but I do not believe that is the 53 on the ticker of Tracy Passons. That is actually the 59 of Frederick Seagraves Jr., getting passed by the 43 car of Brock Price there, a little deeper in the field. That is for 20th position at the moment. A couple cars making some moves further back as we are clean and green through the first 7 laps.
Yeah, through all of this, I mean, a lot of times, and we were talking about it a little bit, earlier off air, but we start to get a little nervous, especially at a racetrack like this. But in these conditions, 8 laps, those tires are nice and toasty now. Everything coming up to speed. Whoa! As it looks like just after that, Frederick Seagraves stepping out of line behind the 43 of Brock Price. We work here on lap number 9 of 100 the Boyne City, Michigan driver, Frederick Seagraves, holding things together you know, right now up one position. Our biggest mover of the night right now is Brock Price, though, running in 19th, up 5 since qualifying. Now, there's a battle for the lead breaking out as Mark Whitley having to hold off Ken Huber. And Huber in the 40 machine has been a contender, at least for the last 3 weeks that we've really been watching. I mean, out of nowhere, Huber has cranked it up and said, I'm tired of watching, you know, McWhorter and Whitley duke it out. So now Huber trying to get in on this dance.
Yeah, said a little earlier, but he got a huge win last week at Sonoma, and I think that built a lot of confidence for him that he can continue to contend up in these top few spots week in and week out as he sits under 0.2 of a second now back to Mark Whitley right behind that 77 car. He has been pretty consistently one of the fastest cars on the racetrack, running laps quicker than Whitley, quicker than McWhorter, quicker than Curtis. I wonder if maybe he's pushing those tires a little bit hard here in the early going, but right now everything seems like it's working out just fine for that 40 car as we are already on lap 12. Time flying by here when we run green at Rockingham.
Yeah, I'm not mad at this at all. We see a good battle breaking out deeper in the field. That's the 16 machine. And, you know, overall, I think as we see some of these things develop, you know, tonight, even drivers like Kyle Deering and Stefan Purcell here in the 92, you know, we're going to see a lot of these drivers take a few new chances, if you will. Of course, peeking down here now, you know, that, of course, the Greg Biffle tip of the cap salute here. And you know what? It just feels right when it looks like that. It's not the Dale Jr. National Guard, that's the Biffle one.
As he continues to sit there a little bit deeper in the field, and she continues to sit there. And realize what car that was. That's Jamie Libke in the 16. Barrett Morton sits one spot behind in 10th, and then you've got Levi McCarty back there in 11th in this battle. Still a little bit of a gap going from Sweeting back to Libke there. Libke sits 1 second behind that 57 car of Chuck Sweeting. Maybe holding Barrett Morton up a little bit. Morton consistently one of the faster cars in this field and is going to be looking for more here over the next few laps.
Yeah, you know, as these cars start to come to the drivers, we go on board now with Jamie Libke. And Jamie Libke just ahead of Barrett Morton. You know, everybody kind of taking their time, and this is what we've started to come to know the Grand National Series. I mean, the INVETS Grand National Series here as part of the and I just jinxed it.
Yep, there's your caution. Looks like Gary Wright is Mason Mayer and Gary Wright. Mason Mayer's already had to tow it back to the pits. That car's trashed.
Can't say I'm too proud of what I just caused here, potentially. And this is interesting. And there's the end of it. It looks like there was a major disconnect connection-wise.
Mason Mayer, I have it here. Mason Mayer is just going to smack the wall hard at a 2. I'm not sure if we're able to get the replay. But he's going to smack the wall really hard at a 2. And then after he smacked the wall, it looked like Gary Wright was kind of following him up the racetrack, had an oh crap moment. Also tagged the wall, tagged Mayer, sent them both around into the inside wall pretty hard.
Yeah, and, you know, overall, it looks like there was also probably a connection issue that obviously, you know, played havoc here. And I think that that's something that we have to keep an eye on. And speaking of the INVETS Grand National Series, we want to thank our friends at INVETS for sponsoring us as we come down pit road. INVETS aids in transitioning to civilian life, focusing on job placement and finding the right community for veterans and their families to ensure their success and happiness. They are a veteran nonprofit in Indiana with the goal of bringing veterans to that state to live and work. And speaking of bringing that state down, we're going to bring it all down pit road as it looks like it is wholesale pit stops here at Rockingham.
Yeah, not too surprised here. You've got a couple extra sets of tires. You might as well come down and put them on the car here. 18 laps into this race. We know tires can wear really quickly at this racetrack. So if you maybe tried to stay out and play that strategy like it looks like Brandon Wallace and Frederick Seagraves have, could very easily come out on the back foot. Jamie Libke is going to come in. She'll take fuel only behind the wheel of that 16 car. That'll get her out in P3. And then Whitley on 4 will be the next car out. He will go from 4th, but the 3 cars in front of him do not have new tires.
Yeah, the old tire game is usually a little bit nerve-wracking. And, you know, you don't want to look in the rearview mirror and see drivers like Whitley and McWhorter and Huber with fresh tires, while meanwhile, Brandon Wallace and Frederick Seagraves are up here just, you know, praying. Smoke if you got them, because you're about to be smoked.
Yeah, I am interested to see how that strategy works out. Would not have been my first idea to maybe try that, but I guess we'll just have to see how it ends up working tonight for Frederick Seagraves. So we will bring the pace car onto the back straightaway here, and we'll get ready to get going in just a moment with Wallace and Seagraves up on that front row, 2 drivers who have not taken tires and who are going to try to make this work. Jamie Libke will go from 3rd. She'll have new fuel, but will not have any sort of new tires on that car. And then Mark Whitley in the 77 car will go from P4. Dominant car so far this race, first car on 4 fresh tires. The pace car will pull in for Wallace and Seagraves. We'll see if either of them can get a good jump. Doesn't look like it's. Wallace is loose as we take the green flag.
Almost as soon as they came into the extreme scoring restart zone, it seemed like a couple of drivers got a little shaky-footed as Frederick Seagraves held on for dear life, and he might as well have just thrown his hands up in the air. Now the 77 dives underneath of Seagraves, and he is quickly put to rest. Now the 72 of McWhorter works his way by. You know what? At this point, Seagraves is more of a hazard out there, more of a liability than he is a competitor, as he now slides all the way up the racetrack. That thing is tighter than a snare
Chuck
drum.
Sweeting wrecking in turn 2.
Jesus.
He's going to save that thing, I think. We're not going to get a caution, but man, that could have been nasty.
Yeah, that is what we'd like to affectionately refer to as a Code Brown moment. He's going to need to go change the fire suit after this one. The rear end steps out, which I was talking about during pre-race, and when that rear end came out, he did a good job getting it to stop rotating, but by then he was already pointed right toward the inner wall and that inner safer barrier. Here at Rockingham, we go back live, and your race leader, Mark Whitley, now...
Whoa, Levi McCarty now having a moment with Frederick Seagraves. Both of those cars keep it straight. Frederick Seagraves was about 90 degrees sideways there. That's an unreal save.
Yeah, I'm going to say the bonehead award of the night right now is going to go to Seagraves and maybe Wallace for going out here and thinking they were going to be okay, not getting fresh tires when literally the rest of the field did this. I don't like to talk smack. I just like to call it like I see it. That's for sure. But Whitley and McWhorter now duking it out here atop the pile, 0.3 of a second splitting these 2 drivers up. And then the big gap is 1.6 seconds from McWhorter back to Kinder. So this 2-way battle for the lead, we're going to watch rage for a while. I mean, we're already 25% of the way through this race, through this piece, and Kinder is just out here knowing, hey, I'm really vying for that 3rd step on the podium. 1 and 2 are locked up right now.
I don't think that wreck was really Seagraves' fault at all. It was a bit of an optimistic move by Tracy Passons in the 53, trying to send that thing to the inside of Seagraves, but ultimately both cars ended up still going, and Seagraves was by far the one who got the worst out of it. Jamie Libke and Brandon Wallace are both having a pretty bad time out here after that accident. Jamie Libke sitting all the way back in P14 now on the racetrack, and Brandon Wallace is not much further up. A lot of problems for these drivers. Mickey Isaac now down to the inside of Libke. That one's going to be for 15. And Jamie Libke continues to slide back after not taking tires. I think would have been the much better call to come down and put 4 on it now, because she was running up in the top 10 prior to this set of pit stops. Maybe she could have a set left at the very end of this race if we have enough cautions, or cautions timed to where that could come into play, but right now, not working out too well for her.
No, and I think that's one of the hardest things, and I've talked about this, for a long time on the air. One of the hardest things that you do is we take a look here at the telemetry of Mark Whitley in the 77. You have to be your own driver, because you don't have a choice. You have to be your own spotter and your own crew chief, unless you've got that kind of a staff in your Discord channel. So these drivers have to make those snap decisions while they're coming down pit road, and one slip of the finger on that black box in your iRacing display, and it's all over. You've already, screwed the pooch.
Just over a quarter of the way through this race now, as under these green flag conditions, this thing has really flown. We're looking a little bit deeper in the field. That is the 0-2 car of Michael Jones. And a bit of a moment there for the one behind him. That's Christopher Heiner having a moment, dropping through the field. He'll be passed by Dave Calvin on the outside, and now you've got Darrell Whitford right behind that car, trying to get his way back up in this as well. Heiner struggling there down on the inside, as Daniel Parks is now going to get around that struggling Seagraves car.
I've been keeping an eye on the 99 back here, Brandon Wallace. He's now just behind the 50 of Kyle Deering. Now, Deering from New Bern, North Carolina, is starting to close in on Jamie Libke. We mentioned a few moments ago that Jamie Libke struggling, but the 99 of Brandon Wallace quietly just, working back here in 17th position, starting to try to creep back up. Charles Abert just got around Brandon, but, just being consistent. At this stage in the race, just 30% of the way through, 31%. You don't need to be out here pushing like crazy. You don't need to be out here being aggressive. At this point, it's more about be consistent, get these laps in, get your marks hit, and keep it moving.
And these drivers have done a pretty good job of keeping it consistent so far and hitting their marks. We've seen a couple issues throughout the field today, but, there's one right in front of the driver we're watching there. That is Tracy Passon's getting a bit of a scrape to the outside wall. Haven't seen too many big incidents today, though. It's been fairly clean, fairly green racing as we approach the 1/3 mark in this race, with Mark Whitley continuing to put a hurt on the field up there. 0.6 of a second gap separating him and Joseph McWhorter. If it wasn't for some pit strategy, Mark Whitley would be clear to lead every single lap of this race so far. He has done an amazing job to lead every single lap that we've held under green so far in this race.
Yeah, and you know what? We've seen that a lot with Mark Whitley over the last several years, and in a couple different divisions here in the Goat Locker family of racing series. And here in the INVETS Grand National Series, Mark Whitley, no different, at least to our viewers here on V-Speed. And we want to thank everybody for tuning in tonight and making us a part of your evening, and for welcoming us into your homes and onto your phones, wherever you may be and however you may be listening, right here on V-Speed. And Mark Whitley, your race leader. He's followed by Joseph McWhorter, Ken Huber, Garrett Kinder, and Tracy Passons. That's your top 5 as we work here now past that 1/3 of the way mark.
Whitley already catching up to some lap traffic you see right here. It is really not taking him long at all to pull up to some of these cars. Mark Barcelos, this is Chuck Sweeting recovering from that accident. This is Stefan Purcell up there as well. Whitley trying to find his way through these cars, although it's going to be a little bit difficult here.
Yeah, now is he's got to be able to get around the 57 of Chuck Sweeting. Some of the things that are probably, now I've never been that good of a driver where I'm lapping the field or multiple drivers. Quite frankly, my laps led is shorter than, shorter than just about my pinky toe. But Mark Whitley is one of these drivers that spends a lot of time leading the pack. And, it's got to be frustrating to say, hey, listen, these guys and gals aren't near as skilled as I am. I now have to navigate around them, and hope that nobody farts or does the wrong thing and throws me off course.
Yeah, we got a car up in the wall here on the top side of the racetrack. That is the 54 machine. Got to figure out who that is because we do not have a number 54 on the ticker, but it's somebody running a Kyle Busch themed car with the M&Ms there. It was Austin McGulkin, who is in the 51 car on your ticker. 54 is the number actually on the car there. He is the one up in the fence as some of these drivers start to migrate a little bit higher up the racetrack there. McGulkin, one of them, using that middle to high lane and making it work pretty well for himself right now in this one. Mark Whitley now around Michael Jones. They are and they're almost 3 wide up in front of Mark. Whoa! Mason Mayer, contact with Kevin Price right in front of your leader. We're going to stay
And that's
green somehow.
Well, they stayed facing the right direction, and all things considered, that's exactly what I was just talking about. We're going to go to the V-Speed Instant Replay just ahead of our race leader.
Man, I got nothing. Woof.
Now, way
And
tightened
the
up.
caution will fly now, by the way. We do have a caution out on the racetrack.
I got to be honest. If I'm Mark Whitley, I'm going out to play the Powerball because that was lucky as all get out.
Let's see what the actual cause of caution was here, as we did have a real caution come out shortly after that.
As opposed
Stephon
to
Davis, I'm hearing. Oh!
Sir,
Yeah.
Yep, you can't do that.
Oh, well, this is gonna start
Oh.
in front of him here. We've got a whole separate accident. Barrett Morton is going to make some contact with Levi McCarty. That is gonna get Barrett Morton turned around, and he is gonna collect Brock Price when he comes back up the racetrack. And then he's gonna collect another car there, because Brock Price is gonna collect another car there in the 09 of Stephon Davis when he comes down the racetrack. That was we'll try and get the replay for you here. That was a maneuver that Barrett Morton pulled.
Yeah, I can't say that was a great move there, but the 09 being able to keep it pointed forward is pretty impressive.
It's a bold block to throw. Maybe if you were at Daytona and time was running out, you'd try that block. Not sure I
43
see it
really
on lap 42 at Rockingham.
No, but the 43 really should have held onto the binders there and stayed put. The free roll down the racetrack is kind of what.
I mean, you could make the same argument about Barrett Morton, because that's how the 43 got involved in the first place.
True story. True story. Well, speaking of making arguments, we can put those arguments to the side for the time being and talk about our friends at the GLR Pit Crew. The GLR Pit Crew program is a monthly giving initiative designed to provide consistent, meaningful support in our fight against PTSD, mental health struggles, and suicide in the veteran and first responder community. When you join, you're not just making a donation, you're becoming part of a team. The team that keeps this mission moving forward. Learn more or join today at goatlockerracing.org and click the Pit Crew banner. And you can also check out that QR code right here on your screen. The web store is launched, it's live, and I'm just saying, for lack of a better term, the Goat Locker logos are pretty badass. And I'm told by our producer extraordinaire that the hoodies are, quote, comfortable.
We'll get ready to get back going here. Didn't see any major pit stops under that caution. No, wait, I lied to you. We did have pit stops. It just came while we were analyzing the replay. So everybody came down pit road there. Mark Whitley, Joseph McWhorter, all on 4 fresh Goodyear tires. As the pace car will pull in, we'll hit the extreme scoring restart zone. It'll be Whitley and McWhorter. We're green at Rockingham.
Back underway, and Whitley starting to step away. He's going to start to gap Joseph McWhorter pretty early by about 0.2 of a second. Right here on lap 44, we're approaching that halfway point. Don't look now, though, but there's a little bit of a gaggle back here where Mickey Isaac and Kyle Deering are. This 4-car bunch is getting a little dicey. They nearly go 3 wide. Watch the middle here, and they almost do. The 01 now holding on to the low side. They shuffle Austin McColgan. Oh, and sideways. Lock him up, the 54.
Oh.
And there's caution number 3. This is going to be an easy instant replay to pull up. We were right over top of it.
There you go.
Doesn't get much more clear than that, kids.
I keep looking for the 54 on my ticker and forgetting that he's the 51, and then I wonder why I can't find the accident. Daniel Parks has got a meatball on that car, and I believe he has already used his faster pair on that 71. Yes, he has. So that could be a day ender for the 71 car of Daniel Parks pretty early on here at Rockingham. Joseph McWhorter just disconnected from the race.
What?
Internet failure for Joseph McWhorter.
Oh, no.
He was running second at the time, and, well, he will not be running second anymore because he does not have any internet to run second with. That is unfortunate.
Well, I guess that would be the I in iRacing. And without it, you just have racing.
That's a great point.
Kids. Yeah,
That's a great point.
That's what I'm here for. I'd like to add as much interesting crap as I can. We also want to point everyone on over to the GLR web store. When you shop the Goat Locker Racing web store, you're getting great gear and supporting something bigger. Every order helps to support veterans, active military, first responders, and the Goat Locker Racing mission to stand up against mental health struggles. Gear up and support the mission at glrwebstore.com. Is there something more widespread with internet problems?
I couldn't tell you. I'm having a nice time.
Yeah,
I don't
have a problem on my side, but
Joseph McWhorter clearly having some problems. I'll tell you what, that iRacing comment, my brain is mush. I worked like 10 hours yesterday. I just got off a shift today. My brain is mush. I think that's the first time I've ever just not been able to respond to anything you said.
that's fair. I mean, I probably should have prepared you for some kind of, horse shit to come out of my mouth. It's fine.
It's kind of
to be fair,
to be expected when you get on a broadcast with me that at some point I will drop a non sequitur.
Oh, God, yeah. That's what I'm here for.
We'll get ready to get back going here. Mark Whitley, and it'll be Ken Huber now up on that second row after the loss of Joseph McWhorter in this race. He didn't crash out, but he does have no internet. And so he will be done for at least the time being until he can maybe get that internet back connected and try to get back into this thing to salvage some laps and some points before this is all said and done. It'll be Garrett Kinder back in third, Tracy Passage, Judson Curtis in the 29 car. The remainder of your top five, as we are just shy of halfway here in the INVETS Grand National Series. The pace car pulls in. It's Mark Whitley and it's Ken Huber into the extreme scoring restart zone once again at Rockingham.
The 53 pulled out of line and just sank back and is now falling like a stone, now sitting just ahead of the 59 and the 50. It's almost like the 53 couldn't get going and now just sank. Meanwhile, Mark Whitley is going to 3 wide back here in the field. Good gravy. This little 4-car pack here, with Kyle Deering, Jamie Libke, the 18 of Levi McCarty, and the 99 of Brandon Wallace. I'm not trying to call it early, but bad things are going to happen here if they can't sort out where they got to be on the racetrack right now, as we do hit that halfway point this time by. It'll be 50 laps to go.
Joseph McWhorter has rejoined the session here, but he is already 3 laps down and well out of contention to get a win or even really a good finish here in this race, as you see a couple cars in the wall here this far back in the field at the moment, right around this Kyle Deering area. Darrell Whitford's been going at it in the 20 car as well. We're single file right now, but I don't think it'll be too long before we start to see some drivers make some moves off into these corners and try to gain some positions. Track has gone up a couple degrees. We were running at about 112 to start this thing. It's sitting at 114 right now with the sun out.
I would be anxious to see if the 72 can somehow pull it together. If McWhorter does get back out on track and starts logging laps, I at least would be curious, hey, listen, do you catch a couple of cautions and somehow do something crazy? Because we've seen McWhorter intentionally drop back, or at least seemingly intentionally drop to the back of the pack and then drive through everybody just to prove a point.
Yeah, I'm doing a little bit of math right now, and I think he would need about 16 cautions in order to get himself back on the lead lap, which, I mean, I've seen crazier things, but I think we do not have enough overtimes set to actually get Joseph McWhorter back up on the lead lap here tonight. So I think he might try to get that car back out just to get himself solidly ahead of that damaged Daniel Parks car in the 71 that he's on the same lap as. Maybe he could get Mason Mayer in the 19, who sits 5 down. Jamie Libke is going to try to get a move here on Brandon Wallace, but she's going to have to back out there in this battle for P11, and Joseph McWhorter has disconnected again.
Joseph McWhorter just heard your analysis, realized that this was completely pointless, and said, you know what, I'm going to go watch The Masked Singer over on Fox.
He's got a new disconnection. Last time he disconnected, we got a crash down here on the back straightaway. Mickey Isaac in the 01 is around.
But as long as Mickey Isaac waits for traffic to go on past, we're going to stay green. Let's see what happened with Mickey as we watch here the 01. I'm betting we're going to see the rear end just step out, do a pirouette. There it is.
We're going to see some help.
There was contact.
Tracy Passons is going to get into him there.
But you know what? Some heads-up driving from Mickey, though, to make sure, hey, listen, let me stay behind this, below this white line and wait till everybody gets past to get pointed forward. That keeps the racetrack green.
Nicer than I would have been. If I got dumped, I would have immediately brought out a caution. You're going to see me driving back into traffic. Mickey Isaac, much better driver than I am, and opting to not do that as Garrett Kinder is in the battle back here with Judson Curtis and Barrett Morton. I was going to say Joseph McWhorter is disconnected in 2 different ways. It was due to download packet loss the first time. It was due to upload packet loss the second time. So he's got a lot of internet issues going on over there.
It's just a rough day. That's all there is to it. Working here on lap number 58, we see Judson Curtis running P4 right now. And, you know, here's the thing with Curtis. Curtis now there's a lot of opportunities that have opened up. When you get the 72 out of the way, when you get any one of our major, contenders out of the way, you're going to see some of that cream start to rise to the top. Somebody makes a little bit of room. Judson Curtis has been out here week after week trying to prove himself, and sometimes just needs that little bit of an opportunity. And tonight could be the night as he and Kinder are going to have to work together to get up where Ken Huber is running, I don't know, just about 0.2 of a second behind Mark Whitley.
We've seen without McWhorter when Huber is able to get into that second position really all night long, that he's able to hold on to it and he's able to continue to harass Mark Whitley. This is not the first time that 40 car has sat in second and given Mark Whitley quite a bit of pressure here. Less than 0.3 of a second behind that 77 car. You saw it right on the opening stretch of this race, and Huber, with the faster lap time than the 77 car this last lap around, is doing it once again. He'll go slower this lap, but the 40 of Huber is still very much there, very much in contention, and trying to claw back some time from Mark Whitley.
Deeper back in the field, Frederick Seagraves just lost out on a battle with Levi McCarty in a fight for 7th position. Now, Seagraves is up 13. Brock Price in the 43 has gained 18 positions overall since the drop of the green flag. This is kind of that breadbasket of our competitors tonight. And Seagraves has quietly been doing it. And here's the thing. If you're going to go out there and start making those moves, do them consistently, do it gently, and do it smart. That's how you know somebody's running a great race. And Frederick Seagraves out of Boyne City, Michigan, doing just that tonight.
We're single file right now with the exception of this move that's being made here a little bit deeper back in the field. Back in P6, Levi McCarty will get around Brock Price pretty easily. While we are single file, we're not really seeing that many big gaps in the field as Price is going to immediately go for the switchback here on Levi McCarty and not even going to let me finish my point before he is back trying to charge on that 18 car. McCarty will hold him off, though, there on the outside, and Brock Price was not able to get enough of a run to really do anything. The top 12 cars are all still really close to each other. I mean, you got maybe about a 0.7 of a second gap there from Barrett Morton to Levi McCarty, but everybody from McCarty back to about Stephon Davis is within half a second of the car in front of him, and similar things going on up front. No one's really outside of about 0.75 of a second from the car in front of him. So even though it's single file, it's tight racing all up and down the field, and Ken Huber is continuing to put some good laps down in pursuit of Mark Whitley. A little bit deeper in the field, we've got the 92 of Stefan Purcell, and then further up the road, it's the 1 of Christopher Heiner and the 02 of Michael Jones. Heiner steps out, gets loose, bangs the wall, and Michael Jones will get that spot there as Heiner is struggling in that one car.
Yeah, and meanwhile, in the 92 machine, Stefan Purcell from Fort Gay, West Virginia, in the Lung Dart Ford Mustang. I mean, just now staying ahead of McCall Jones, back about 2/10 of a second behind. And I mean, the 0-2 trying to hold himself together. Michael Jones now, you know, here on lap 66, doing the very best that he can. Who was that just stepping out of line once again? There's the 53 down on the apron. 3, 2, 1, bringing it pit side here on lap 66. Now the 1 machine also down below the white line.
This is probably going to be a tires pit stop for Heiner here. He was really struggling, had that big smack to the wall that cost him a lot of speed and presumably a lot of aero as well, because I have to imagine that that car took a lot of damage in that accident. He'll try to get that thing back out, but I'm going to guess he'll take a fast repair on that 1 car with his tires. This is going to be a black flag for that 53 car of Tracy Passons for contact with Mickey Isaac. That was the crash we saw where Mickey Isaac went around. Tracy Passons has been ruled at fault, and he will take the drive-through.
Yeah, you know, this is the period in a race where, you know, you're not really sure, hey, listen, do I want to use that fast repair? You're 2/3 of the way through at this point. Past 2/3 of the way through. So you basically have a little bit of time left. Do you want to take that chance and use it early, or do you want to save that in case bad things happen? But overall, for a race at Rockingham, this is not a bad competition here on a Sunday night. Mark Whitley just less than 2/10 of a second ahead of Ken Huber, and Huber has been quietly starting to edge away here at Whitley's league.
Yeah, Huber has been right there for a while, and he's got these lap cars up in front of him of Heiner. I think Heiner is maybe going to be a little bit quicker on the 4 tires, but well, maybe not, because Whitley will get around him. Heiner will kind of slide into that middle, and that 1 car is just continuing to struggle and drop back down through the field. He's got absolutely nothing going. Oh, Heiner didn't take tires. He just took fuel and a fast repair on that 1 car, so he's going a lap down, but 2 laps down now, but he hasn't actually gotten any rubber on it. He's just going to be slow back there.
Yeah, you don't want to be running out here on this racetrack as warm as it is right now, you know, with no rubber. But all things, whoa, 3 wide, heads up. Everybody holds their collective breath for just a moment as the 09 making its way around to everybody else. Doesn't really seem like a wise choice this late in the race, but Stefan Davis trying to make things happen. There it is. Stefan Davis gets hooked and sent down to the apron, gathers it back up, as he is now going to have to scurry down toward the racetrack. We're going to go to the V-Speed instant replay. Off. You can see Stefan Davis just gets hooked. I mean, he was kind of out there in no man's land, so as it was, and play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
And he's going to have to recover quite a bit from that. I mean, it could have been a lot worse. He could have dropped much further through the field than he did, but he will look to recover here, maybe salvage something from this day as he sits in P11 at the moment. Man, Ken Huber is still there, still within 2/10 of a second to Mark Whitley. He has not really made a move on that car at all, hasn't set up a pass, but he hasn't gone away either. He has been deadlocked to the rear bumper of that 77 car, and showing no signs of giving him a break anytime soon.
I'll tell you what, it's almost like Ken Huber knows how close he needs to stay to keep himself competitive. And at the same time, if Whitley makes an uncharacteristic mistake, Huber is going to be there to pounce right on him. So, realistically, it's almost like Huber is just back there to harass him and to make him check that rearview mirror so that Whitley doesn't think, I'm up here doing whatever I want to do.
Yes, Huber is going to try it to the inside of Whitley here. Doesn't have a lot of space to get this move done. They'll stay side by side off the corner as the lapper will drop it down to the inside. Huber back door to door as we head into turns 3 and 4. Huber looking for it off the corner. Does he finally have what it takes to get around Whitley? Not quite. The 77 continues to lead the lap, has the momentum on the outside lane, but the 40 won't go away. He'll drive him up the road, door banging through the corner. Neither car giving the other any room to breathe at all. And Ken Huber will have the advantage now down the back straightaway as he tries to get clear of Mark Whitley. He will do it. Ken Huber looking to go back-to-back is your new leader at Rockingham.
Ken Huber waited until just the right time, and now the 77 looks to the inside. He gets right up against that bottom line of the racetrack, and he's going to try to regain his lead that he had just lost to Ken Huber. Huber and Whitley, all of a sudden, with 23 laps to go, are trying to light things up here at Rockingham. And I'll tell you what, this is what you folks tuned in for tonight. This is why you pulled up the YouTube feed right here on V-Speed.
22 laps to go, and the duel is on. Huber with a dive back deep into the corner, trying to get something, trying to get back in pursuit of Mark Whitley, as the tire temp has only continued to skyrocket here over the last, I would say, 20 laps or so. It was at 114, but with the sun out and the temperature getting hotter, the track temp is at 120, and that's only going to make these tires wear faster. It's only going to make these cars harder to drive, and it's only going to cause more problems. I mean, you can see it tick up in real time there to 121.
Yeah, I mean, 121 degrees is just the side of blistering. But let's take a look at that race recap. 3 cautions, 7 lead changes. Really not that big of a movement kind of race. And, you know, once again, we talked about that in pre-race. Now we're looking at this during the race itself, and with 20 laps to go, I think this is what the people paid the money for to come in the gate. Mark Whitley just 0.3 of a second ahead of Ken Huber, who was just up there, you know, assaulting the inside door panel of Mark Whitley. I mean, you know, they were door banging for a good half a lap, almost locked together.
Yeah, we've seen tight racing all night long here, all throughout the field, and I mean, this is no exception as Mark Whitley continues to get away from Ken Huber. Huber is the one dicing his way through some lap traffic right there as he continues to do work in that 40 car, but the gap is starting to get higher as what was really a lead there for Huber is now spiraled into a 3.5 second deficit, and he is going to have a lot of ground left to pick up if he wants anything to do with Mark Whitley out in front of this field.
Yeah, I mean, Ken Huber now almost 0.4 of a second. It's almost like Whitley just saw, you know, his racing life flashed before his eyes. And he said, you know what, I need to start putting some gap between myself and Huber, because obviously Huber is a formidable opponent. And, you know, in the words of Captain Hook, what's going on with my great and worthy opponent? So as it is, Ken Huber is back here just harassing Mark Whitley, at least for the last 10 laps. And right now, don't look, but we've got 16 of these things left. Now 15.5 as we haul it down into turn 3.
Time is rapidly running out for Huber to get anything back and to try and claw his way back up. Caution will fly, though, and that'll help him out. Well, let's figure out where this happened. Christopher Heiner is involved in an accident here, and it looks like it is going to involve a couple other cars. Stefan Davis as well.
Parked up against the outside wall they are. We take a look here at the one machine, the 09 of Stefan Davis, just sticking his nose where it didn't belong, got himself tight, slid up the racetrack, and boom goes the proverbial dynamite.
Yeah, that is going to be a big wreck for both of those cars, and I do not believe either of those drivers have a fast repair yet, or a fast repair left, because Christopher Heiner at least has definitely been involved in some stuff throughout this race, and I think Stefan Davis has it as well. Take a quick look at that. So yeah, both drivers have used the fast repair, both drivers potentially done for the night as a result of that damage.
That's a rough way to end your Sunday night, you know, especially if all you're going to do now is log a couple of limping laps to get around. But right now, the 77 of Mark Whitley leads our field down pit road. He gets in here for 4 tires and a tank of Go Fast. The right side's up, the left side's up, and they're going to pack that thing full of Sunoco racing fuel as he and Ken Huber go out almost simultaneously from their pit boxes. It's going to be coming off of pit road. Whitley, Huber, Kinder, Morton, Levi McCarty, Judson Curtis, Jamie Libke, Brandon Wallace, Michael Jones, and Frederick Seagraves Jr., your top 10.
And this is really going to be a mad dash now. Huber is going to need everything he's got if he wants to chase down Mark Whitley up here at the front of the field and give him a fight over these last 14 laps. It is going to really come down to the wire here.
And as we get ready to come down to the wire, let's thank our friends over at Alexander PCs. Alexander PCs is a custom and gaming PC builder who has been building and modding systems since 2002. They are a veteran-owned and operated family business, and all of the team members, support, and production are US-based. All desktop PCs come with an industry-best lifetime limited warranty and service guarantee. Work, play, conquer Alexander PCs. Going to be about 13 laps to go when we come back around here. The iRacing.com pace car lights are off as we come into the turn 3 and 4 complex. What are we thinking as we wait for that extreme scoring restart zone to start?
Well, let's find out as we hit that extreme scoring restart zone. It's Mark Whitley with a good jump to get clear of Huber, and he is going to have some cars there really challenging Ken Huber, and that's going to let Whitley get away. Garrett Kinder is going to pull himself up to second. He has not been in the contention for the lead all night, as we're going to wreck behind him. Michael Jones around, and he's going to take a couple cars with him. Caution flies.
And now we're at, Michael Jones backing up. Doesn't take anybody else with him. But let's take a look. Let's watch that 02 Toyota Supra on the low side, just drifting up the racetrack, right across to the nose of the 92, and the lung dart machine shoves him down onto the backstretch against that inner safer barrier.
And that is going to give Huber and Kinder even less time for them to try and find a way around Mark Whitley. The more cautions we get here later in the race, I think the more that ultimately benefits this 4 car, or this 77 car, excuse me.
Yeah, I mean, right now it's going to save laps on the 77. And, all things considered, this is going to give him a little bit of time to relax. And the last thing you want to do is give somebody like Mark Whitley enough time to think about what's going on and, maybe make some calculated decisions, because his drop of a hat decisions, his knee-jerk reactions are really good. Giving him some time to spend in the lab could be scary for everybody.
Time is going to run down here pretty rapidly, so I think we're all excited to see how this is going to play out. Those drivers at the back who maybe saved a set of tires earlier, I think are just going to opt to take it now. That includes some of those cars who we saw go no tires on an earlier stop or stay out altogether on an earlier stop. They will keep that. They will come down now and they will fix some damage and they will take tires on that car. What are you looking? What's going to be the key to victory here, Dave, over this last 10 laps?
If they want to do this in green flag style fashion, they're going to have to give each other a little bit more room. I mean, what Ken Huber and Mark Whitley were doing earlier was just this side of art on the racetrack. Giving each other enough room per se, but at the same time keeping it tight and exciting. There is a happy medium, and they're going to have to find it.
And time is going to run out for these cars very rapidly here. I would not be surprised if we see 1, maybe 2 more cautions as this becomes really just a mad scramble to make something happen here before this race comes to an end tonight. It is going to be an 9-lap dash to the finish. You've got Mark Whitley and Garrett Kinder up here on the front row. Garrett Kinder hasn't really been able to contend all race long, but he's here now when it counts the most, and he'll try to make something happen. You've got Ken Huber back there in row 3. He's led a lap. He's challenged Mark Whitley, but he has not been able to secure the lead at all. And you've got Levi McCarty plus 10 this race from 14 to 4, looking to make some noise before this thing is over. As we hit the extreme scoring restart zone, let's see what kind of jump Mark Whitley gets. It's a good one at Rockingham.
9 laps to go. We've hit the single digits as Mark Whitley leads a double file mess behind him. And it's going to be another 9 laps before that mess is sorted out. Barrett Morton looks to the rear of Ken Huber as they chase each other down into turn 3. Morton is sideways. He's dirt tracking it down to the apron. He keeps it pointed forward. But now he has just given up that ability to contend for the lead for the time being. Levi McCarty running in P2 now, just ahead of Garrett Kinder. It goes Whitley, McCarty, Kinder, and Huber. That's your top 4. And all of a sudden, the 9 of Barrett Morton is out of contention after he just dirt tracked his way around.
Well, Huber might be out of contention too, barring a caution. He's 1.5 seconds back. He's been passed by Kinder. He had to dirt track it a little bit too. Made a great save behind the wheel of that 40 car, but it cost him about a second in the process. And even if he can't get around Kinder here, as he doors that car for P3, he's got a second and a half to go if he wants any shot at Mark Whitley. It looks like his main competition coming down to the end of this race is going to be the 18 of Levi McCarty. Who could have seen that coming? I certainly didn't.
Yeah, I didn't have that on my bingo card. Usually we don't see those mistakes, but now check this out. Levi McCarty out of Muncie, Pennsylvania, just laid fast time down at 23.81 seconds. So as the temperature has gone up, the times have dropped dramatically. So, 23.807 officially. And, Levi McCarty trying to close the gap, but 0.6 of a second with 5 to go here. I think that might be too much with not enough time. One of the things that we hear from, a rub of the wall, that's no good either. One of the things that we hear from so many drivers is, if I only had 1 more lap, or I just needed 2 more laps and I could have caught him. I think McCarty needs to know that I don't think he's got enough. As he rubs the wall again, I don't know what's gotten into him, but he can't seem to stay away from that safer barrier.
No, that's not the first time that he's banged it over the last couple of laps, and that car has really rapidly dropped down through the field as a result. He was only about 0.4 of a second back of Whitley. Whoa, we're all sliding around deeper in the field. McCarty now 0.9 of a second back and pretty much out of it. It was Brandon Wallace it was Kyle Deering back in that car there having that moment in the 50.
Working now with 3 laps to go. Mark Whitley, your race leader, leads the parade, and it looks like we're finally going to have something nice and clean happen as Whitley with a 1.0906 second lead over McCarty. This doesn't get much better for him as he rolls out of turn 4 and down the front stretch. We're 2 laps to go as he comes down the back stretch one more time.
And all he needs is for this thing to stay green because he has complete control of this race. 0.9 of a second clear over Levi McCarty. 77 comes back around. It'll take the glove station white flag, and it's just one more time around for the 77 car of Mark Whitley. He's already won a couple races this season in the Grand National Series. He's been up here competing night in, night out. And he's had multiple good runs tonight, though. He will end up in victory lane. Coming out of turn 4, it's the 77 car of Mark Whitley grabbing the win at Rockingham.
Mark Whitley captures the checkered flag, and he's going to be followed across the start-finish line by Levi McCarty and Ken Huber. So the Muncie, Pennsylvania native gets himself just down here alongside the 77. He's going to go celebrate on pit road. I mean, listen, not for nothing. When you finish second to somebody like Mark Whitley, you're doing okay. There's nothing to be upset about.
Yeah, dominant run for Mark Whitley. Led 96 laps. I think Ken Huber stole one from him, and he might have lost a couple on a pit cycle, but that was it for Mark Whitley. Domination from start to finish. What a race.
Yeah, an impressive night here as we get ready to step aside and pay some bills right here on V-Speed. When we come back, it's going to be final results and a quick trip here with our race winner and the podium.
We are back here at the INVETS Grand National Series, and we are standing by with our race winner tonight, Mark Whitley. Mark, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. How about you guys?
Grabbed the win tonight, dominating win. You led 96 laps. Walk us through it.
Yeah, I feel like practice was a little weird because I somehow put the fastest lap down, and I literally told one of my teammates, I'm like, I don't know how I just did that, and I don't think I could do it again. And it was weird. This track's always been kind of a handful to get your head around. I feel like I had a good handle on it before they did the rescan, and ever since I did the rescan, it's kind of like you have to go back to square one and relearn it. High side used to be like the dominant preferred lane on the long run, and now it's, you definitely want to be around the middle or low side. So it was a learning curve, and I felt like at least the first half of the race, it was who could go the slowest, fastest. Like it seemed like all 3-4 of us up there were trying to save just enough to stay in front of the other guys, and it was just a really fun, interesting race. And there at the end with Ken, that was a hell of a battle, and he got by me because I got really tight getting in the corner, and I had to get up on the wheel and find a way to get back around him, and kind of figured something out there getting back around him. And after that, it was just kind of, the 8-9 lap run to the end. You sit there and you just go balls to the wall and hope you don't get another caution.
Yeah, I mean, how was that when you're kind of being pressured by Ken Huber like you were for so much of that race?
Yeah, like I said, it was kind of like a chess match. Like we were both trying to save tire, but you also can't save too much because you don't want to be in dirty air. So it was just, I felt like he was running a lot different line than I was. Like he was driving it in, kind of going up the hill and then coming back down. I was trying to go in there a little slower just to get it slowed up and then kind of cut down off the middle. Then he got by me because I went in the corner. I think I either overdrove it or I just missed my line a little bit, and he got by me. We were side by side there, and I just kind of downshifted, turned up under him, and tried to see. It was long into the runs. I felt like maybe downshifting was the key, and lo and behold, it actually really helped it turn. So I was able to get back by him, and then, I kind of just kept doing it. After I got back by him, I started to pull away a little bit, and I was kind of hoping we just went green. And fortunately, we got the caution, but then just hit my marks on the restarts, and once Levi was behind me, I was still trying to save a little bit. I think I was still trying to, just in that mentality from earlier race, and he kind of went from almost a second back to almost on back bumper. I'm like, okay, time to get up on the wheel, and I just, wanted to put in a couple good laps, and I think he either just pushed it too hard or, one of those things. This track is just, you can make up a lot of time in one lap, and you can lose a lot of time in one lap. So I think it was just one of those cases, and thankfully the caution didn't come back out because I was ready for that race to be over with. My nerves were kind of shot.
Who do you have to thank tonight, Mark?
Oh yeah, first, all the league sponsors here help us put on the show. Lincoln Tech, Save 22, INVETS, Indiana Department of Veteran Affairs, ATYL, just everybody that helps make this league go around. Without them, we wouldn't be here. You guys putting on a great broadcast. My personal sponsor, Brantley, over at Harpoon Design, he does all my awesome paint jobs. He also playing double duty up there in the spotter stand, crew chief every week, so I appreciate him doing that. Other sponsor, Java.gg. If you're in the market for a new gaming PC or an upgrade, check them out. They got you covered. Got some good deals over there. Trying to thank everybody that tunes into these races at home. I appreciate all of them. Gives us a little bit more realism on the Sunday nights, and I think that's about it.
All right, congrats on the win tonight, Mark Whitley.
Thank you.
And we're going to give it over to Dave, who is going to be standing by with our second place finisher tonight. That is Levi McCarty.
Muncie, Pennsylvania's Levi McCarty. Hey, it's Dave. You got me.
Yeah, what's up, guys?
Man, listen, you ran a great race tonight. I mean, you gained 12 positions after qualifying in 14th. I mean, third biggest move of the race. Even though you come up short from the lead, I mean, that's still going to feel really good to cover that much real estate.
Yeah, it sure does. And at a track I'm not a huge fan of and not very good at. Well, that'd be why I'm not a big fan of it. It's because I suck. But yeah, lucky to get away with a second place. Had some issues in the middle of the pack. Just really never figured it out. And I wish I would have had a couple more laps to go with the lead there and see if maybe I could do it. But not in the cards tonight, and that's okay.
I've been a broadcaster here on the iRacing.com servers for, a number of years now. And I think all of you guys that say, this isn't my favorite track or this isn't my best track, and somehow manage to wind up here on the podium, I don't think you're giving yourself enough credit. You put a lot of preparation into it. And I think that that's something that you really need to, tip your cap to. And before we cut you loose, speaking of tipping your cap, who do you need to thank and who helped you get it done tonight on the 18 team?
Jam Printing and Promotions. Thank you to INVETS for putting on the series. Fun place to come in and run on Sunday nights. V-Speed, thank you guys. Awesome broadcast as always. Alexander PCs, Cruising Classics, and GTR Simulators.
Frank, congratulations. We'll see you next week.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
And Sky, I believe you have Ken Huber waiting for you now.
Yeah, we got
Frank
Ken Huber
there.
up in the booth with us. Ken, how you doing?
Hey, how you doing? What a race, huh?
Yeah, P3 tonight, but I mean, you were dueling with Mark Whitley for a while. Walk me through that.
Oh, man, I was just talking to him about it. I tried all night. It seemed like we were pretty equal on the runs. I was able to save a lot of tires. I could stay behind him, but I wasn't sure I was going to be able to get around him. And I had one opportunity there. I couldn't quite get it done, so I started backing off again, and then I was going to try to save the tires and maybe make another charge with 5 to go or something like that. But the caution came out, and then, of course, you got to go elbows out, and it got a little crazy there.
I mean, how are you trying to drive that thing when you're pressuring Mark Whitley for like 20 or 30 laps like you were?
I don't know. I'm pretty decent at Rockingham. I haven't run the new paved surface yet, though, but it seems about the same. The car wanted to run the bottom and just roll through 1 and 2, and I kind of just had a knack for getting it through 1 and 2, and I felt really good about it. Whitley was obviously stronger through 3 and 4, so I felt like I might have been getting better tire wear, but it's hard to say. We were just so equal all night long, and I was just getting shot down by the way the cautions were falling. And so it's too bad we couldn't run it out green and find out, but that's the way it goes, I guess.
Coming up next week, we've got Phoenix. It's somewhat similar to this track. Are you looking forward to that one?
Yeah, I like Phoenix. It's another track where you turn left, so we'll see what happens. I should be okay there. I haven't ran there in a while since the trucks, so I don't know how the Xfinity cars run there, but it should be pretty good.
All right, who do you have to thank tonight?
Well, I got to thank you guys up in the booth, of course. Got to thank Patrick Dravick, Jamie Barkus. I kind of came down on Dravick the other night, and we're all good, and apologize to Dravick. But, I also got to thank our league sponsors, iRacing, of course, who provide this awesome simulation that we get to all challenge each other with. And then MK Fire Design, the guys that came on board last season sponsoring the Sports Car Series, still on board with us. Great wooden flags that they provide for us. And then, of course, Sim Motion. We got Sim Motion. Harpoon Designs. I think Whitley is sponsored by them, and his car is painted by them. So really cool designs on cars. Zach Graphics, of course. They can put your design on almost anything. And, that's pretty much all I have for tonight.
All right, congrats on P3, Ken Huber. Looking ahead to next week, Dave, as I mentioned, we got Phoenix. How you feeling about that one?
I'll tell you what, I love a good race at Phoenix, and I don't think that there's anything but good racing at Phoenix. We head to Phoenix next week, and then we go to Dover, which is another kind of home track for me, on the 22nd. Then we go to Michigan, and then kick the playoffs off in Charlotte. Then we have Iowa, Bristol, and Chicagoland for the round of 8, and our championship 4 will head on to Homestead, Miami, where we'll crown that Season 4 champion here in the INVETS Grand National Series.
Thank you so much for joining us here tonight on V-Speed. For myself, Dave, and Skylar up here in the booth, and for everybody at Goat Locker Racing and at V-Speed, thank you so much for watching, and have a great night.
I hope you're ready. This is going to be exciting.
And we got car restarts up to go. Green flag is out and we're underway.
Just a few laps into this. Oh, the 37's getting loose. Oh, and he saves it. Oh, they're going 3 wide.
We've got a 5-way fight for the win of this race coming to 4 laps to go. spectacular fashion.